And now the longest minute of the day.
It is.
Actually, they're all 60 seconds, but we won't nitpick that. So.
Are ready when you are, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, and I have 10 o'clock, so we will call the meeting of the Finance Administration Committee to order. I'm Tobin Hope, attending remotely from my home in the city of Mount Pleasant, Isabella County.
Jerry Jelezinski attended remotely from my home in Chippewa Township, Isabella County, Michigan.
And I'm Jim Horton. I'm attending from my law office in Big Rapids, Mecosta County, Michigan.
Okay, and call to the public. Nicole, do we have anyone?
We do not at this time, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, and just a reminder, if anyone does join us, there is another opportunity for public comment just prior to adjournment. So with that, we'll move on to our first item. Consider approving a contract addendum 2021 FCC order between Isabella County and Securus Technologies LLC and authorize the board chair to sign the same. Sheriff, how you doing today?
Good, folks. How are you?
Good. You gonna walk us through this one?
Well, I'm going to try. I'm not 100% sure I still understand it all. So this one we had to reach out to Mr. Perone, the attorney, and kind of help us walk through. So in essence, what occurred here was the FCC and this has been going on for a few years, created some new rules for anyone that has jail services under 1,000 inmates that provide phone and services to those inmates. They have dictated what type of pay rate scales can occur. So ours was one that was affected, and it dropped down percents, to a certain cost. In essence, what it did was it looks like creates about an $89,000 deficit for us, which isn't great. We certainly don't want to lose revenue, but really is outside of the scope what we can control and what the Securus, which is our company, and they affects all of them across the nation. Securus gave us three options to weed through, and they were pretty muddy waters. Like I said, that's why we got Tim Perone involved, and he was able to kind of give us a better generic outline of what they were. So at the end of the day, we've decided that our option, to extend for 1 year is probably the best financially. Kind of gets us down the road a little bit for the construction project. It'll generate us, I think it was around $14,000 a year for years 2022, 2023, and 2024. And at that point in time, we would be up ready for an RFP to renegotiate, with Securus and or any other company that'd be interested. So the other ones are there. You can see kind of what the differences are in red. The option one, we would not receive the 14,000, and it would end on the 2024 year. Option two is what I'm requesting to look at, generates us the $14,000, and it sends us 1 year to do that. And then option three, we receive up to 85% of the phone commissions, and we would not receive e-messaging, which we don't get a ton from e-messaging. So that's kind of where it lays. It's not financially, it's not great for the sheriff's office or the county, but again, it's kind of outside of our purview to fix. It does not affect any video visitations. It does not affect the tablet programs. We actually did some research. We were at the entry level rates for some of those things. We did bump those up a little bit, trying to offset that $89,000 loss. We won't make the whole thing up, but we're looking to generate maybe another 25 or 30,000, hopefully, to help. So good news, bad news.
If I may, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, go ahead.
So the sheriff certainly, informed me, and we talked about this a great deal. As he said, we did seek the legal counsel of from Coastal Kertoski. We worked with Tim Perone. The sheriff and I had a couple of phone conferences with him, and I believe the sheriff had a couple that I probably wasn't on. And Tim actually contacted Securus for us and had a conversation with them. And in the end, here's the situation, just as the sheriff laid it out. We have no choice that it's going to be reduced. The FCC has made that decision. It's a federal decision. There's no appeal. So that, I think it's all part of the jail reform, probably, Sheriff, don't you? And that's okay. We're all going to adjust to that. And I do think the option is the best option. And the sheriff did a great job of putting together all the information that we sent to our attorney, so he would be well informed. But Securus actually, there are three options, but actually there's only the option that we're recommending that makes any sense for the county. And yes, we're looking at that will be a reduction in revenues, but remember, we are at the start of the fiscal year. And while $89,000 is a lot of money, the sheriff's office is in the general fund. It's not a separate fund as Commission on Aging or Parks or whatever. It's a budget within the general fund. And I can tell you that, the general fund will be able to absorb these costs. It's not going to require a budget amendment because it's in the general fund. And at this point, we just kind of need to let it ride and see where we end up. Because as the sheriff said, there'll be some other things that we can charge for or whatever, but this is a national situation of every jail of our size. So we're, misery loves company. We're not alone in the boat. And it's just time for us to make a selection and move on so we can continue to provide these services. And, we'll figure out the finances as we move along. We're not going to not be able to cover it. That's my point.
So just out of curiosity, it won't apply if you have 1,000 plus inmates.
I think it applies, but I think there's different rates. So
Oh,
if it's
okay.
over 1,000. I mean, it affected everybody, but I don't think there's any sheriff's office in Michigan that, and there might be, maybe some of the bigger ones down there might have 1,000 or more, but not many.
Yeah, okay. That would apply to the big federal prisons, I imagine.
I think it was wide sweeping.
Okay, all right. Commissioners. Yeah, Commissioner Jazinski.
So the revenue loss, is it the nearly 90,000 or the 14,000 coming off that? So it's 76,000.
That'd be correct, but only until 2025.
Okay.
I will tell you on a side note, it'll be coming your way, hopefully sooner than later, but we are in the process of renegotiating our federal contract. We're well past our 3 years on that. I've already done some work to move forward, and some of the communications that we've received is we're in good standings with the U.S. Marshal Service, and I don't foresee us having any issues. I think we're going to be able to bring that number up substantially. We had a good rapport with them, and with new facility coming, that'll be much better. But, one of the things we do is we do the transports, and then we house females, and that's a big attraction to them. So I think we'll be able to raise that rates up and maybe kind of even offset this a little bit. Is my plan.
Commissioner Horton.
Sheriff, real quick, just going over this. Now, this has to do with the amount of time spent online as far as billable minutes online, correct? Is that what, am I understanding that correctly?
For phone conversation only. It doesn't affect the video conferencing,
Right.
the video visits. and stuff.
But it's time spent on the line, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Okay, let's move away from the minutes component of the charge to the inmates. What about charging the inmates per use, like a maintenance per use every time they use the phone to help make up some of that loss of revenue? Like every time, if you're on the phone for 1 to 5 minutes, there's a maintenance fee involved of, make it up $3 per phone call for maintenance on the line. Again, I'm just trying to think of some additional ways you can recoup some of that revenue if possible. I mean, I don't know if that's allowed or
would be-
not allowed.
I would be real cautious trying to circumvent the FCCs. I think they were pretty solid in their ruling, and we tried to circumvent. And that's one of the conversations we did have with Securus, like, what other things can we do to kind of offset that? And then they said, we really, as far as the phone calls themselves, it's set. Like I said, we did increase some of our video visitation stuff because we were at the entry levels. We've changed some things with the tablets a little bit to increase a little revenue there. We'll see, how much that actually is down the road. But
Yeah, that was my only suggestion. I know with the FCC controlling the minutes, so you can't stop the online transmission of it. They control the airwaves, but you can basically control the device, I would think. So as far as the maintenance goes on the device, that would be my only look into. I don't want to say a workaround this, but possibly a way. Again, there's nothing you can do on the loss of revenue as far as the minutes go if the FCC complains on this.
we could reach out to the vendor. There's obviously lots of white paper on this, and there may be some parameters in there where such things are not allowed. So
Yeah, I would imagine. Yeah, I would imagine that was somebody's already addressed this issue. I don't think that's cutting edge for sure. So,
but we'll reach that question with the vendor. And
again, that would be my only. I personally believe you can't. If the FCC is involved and Securus and their contract, you're kind of stuck with that. So, all right. Thanks, Commissioner Hope, or Chairman Hope.
Yeah, no problem. Go ahead, Margaret.
I think the other thing too is that, I think the FCC has decided what it's going to be, and that's what it's going to be. But the other thing too is that, to piggyback on that suggestion, Chairman, is that, we would have to have a staff person who was assigned to managing that. If we're going to manage how many minutes people are on and make sure that we're doing something like that, I think we would cost us to do that, because we'd have to have somebody who was managing those activities. It seems to me.
No, you could also manage it by just, if someone's on the phone 1 to 5 minutes on Securus, you're billing the inmate anyway for that. So you could have a simple program tied onto it. But again, I don't want to, I just threw that out there, but I don't think the maintenance part of that would be too, you're already knowing the amount of minutes or how long you're on it anyway. So, and that could just be a simple calculation. But I agree. There would be some maintenance. There would be some, again, that could be a cost that's passed along too. If you've got, again, I'm just thinking out loud, but yeah, as far as this goes, that I'm, if option 2 is what you suggest, then I would be in favor of is option 2. That would be what I would be in favor of. That looks like it's the most you can receive over the time frame and everything. So let's figure our best option. So.
And I think that'll help us get the new facility issue, and they have already said, Secure said that, if they're still our vendor at that time, they'll implement that system in there with no charge. So that's a bonus moving forward with them and extending it a year and getting us in there, and then being able to RFP a potential change or better contract. So.
Margaret, you mentioned this being part of the greater movement, and certainly it sounds like that was the motivation for this, and it sounds like something we're just going to have to live with, good or bad. But anyway, looking through the 3 options, Sheriff option 2 certainly does seem to make the most sense for us right now. To get us through this. And you mentioned working with the U.S. Marshals. I know you've always said that that's worked out very well for us. So that's
absolutely. And this is the FCC thing has been going on for a while. I think I have a conversation that I made some notes on with Vice Chairman Ling when he was here. I think that was a topic he had brought up at one point about the call rates and stuff like that. So I know that's dating us back here a few years ago already, but I think it's just something that's been on FCC's radar for a while that they just haven't liked, and they finally pulled the trigger and made it happen. So,
yeah. Okay.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
I'll move the contract addendum option 2 between Isabella County and Securus Technologies LLC forward to the work session.
I'll support that. It's been moved and supported. Any further discussion else on that? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say nay. Okay, that motion will move forward to the work session. Thank you, Sheriff. Moving on to item number 5, consider approving the Michigan Employees Retirement System MERS 457 participation agreement and authorize the board chair to sign the same. And Margaret, I assume you're gonna walk us through this one?
Yes.
Margaret, before we get going, Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
Margaret, this doesn't fall with Commissioner Jelazinski and Commissioner Engler, does it? Do they have to be, what's the call on this one?
This is a deferred compensation. It's not a retirement.
Okay.
And I don't believe that anyone is enrolled in this at this time. So it shouldn't affect anybody's ability to discuss or vote.
Perfect. That's what I wanted to make sure. Very
Yeah.
good.
Very good
All right.
question.
Yeah.
So this is a deferred compensation program with MERS. We do have some other deferred compensation programs from other companies. But we have had employees who have said, geez, our retirement is with MERS. Could we also have a 457 with MERS? MERS has occasionally they do workshops and invite employees. We used to host them at Commission on Aging and have, kind of pizza and discussions or whatever. And of course, recently it's been over Zoom. So actually, there was some discussion by MERS in one of those of, oh, we have this 457. So we had employees who had said, what? Could the county do that and authorize the 457, and then we could just have our retirement and our deferred compensation in the same place? It really, it's a win for employees. It has no effect on, there's no anything from the county. The county is not putting any contribution in. An employee decides which of their money they want put in this. It's an opportunity to open it up and allow employees to do that. So we would like to ask if you would please sign the participation agreement and authorize the board chair to sign that, so we could start offering that to our employees.
One question, the staff report says this was authorized by the board in February of 17, but we didn't activate it.
So exactly, that is true. It was authorized when we had a situation with one of our folks, and I would prefer not to go into that on a public meeting. So we opened this 457 for that person, that we could move over what had been a very small amount of their retirement that they had put in 1% and the county had put in 1%. And again, I don't want to go into details in a public meeting, but come to find out that situation was not going to be tenable moving forward because that person also had a retirement system somewhere else. So that was opened up for that person. Now we would like to open it up to whoever would like to go in it.
Okay, and does the county make a contribution for defined, for another type of defined contribution?
We do not make a contribution for any, this is not a defined contribution. This is not the same thing. This is not a retirement system that the county is having. This is not a defined contribution. So we have a defined benefit for employees who were here a long time, which is like a pension plan.
Yep.
We have a defined contribution where the employer and the employees put together a percentage of income into the defined contribution retirement. This is not that. This is a deferred compensation. So an employee can choose to say, I'm just going to make this up. I'm going to defer $50 of every payroll into this deferred compensation. The county's not putting anything in it. It is not a retirement program. It's a common program amongst public employers and public employees that they can do this. We already have some of these programs. I believe we have one with Nationwide, and I'm not sure where else off the top of my head. This is just answering a request by our employees that said, I have my retirement at MERS. Can I have my deferred compensation? Deferred compensation is not the same thing as defined contribution retirement. This is not a county retirement program. We're
Right.
not contributing anything to it.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Mhm.
Commissioners, any questions? Comments?
Oh, real quick, just so I understand this then, we have three: Nationwide Empower, and it says the International City / County Management, ICMA. This makes sense. I mean, it's just a way for employees to, look forward to their future. I mean, it's, we went from, I don't know, when 2001 and going from a defined benefit now into a defined contribution. And this is another way where employees can put away a little more through, and it comes off, it looks like it's pre-tax, which is
Yes, it
nice.
is.
So, I mean, there's other options out there. They can always, if it's after tax, they can always set up their own Roth IRAs. And I don't want to go have that kind of discussion because I know a little bit about that to be dangerous. So I'm not going to do that. But yeah, this makes sense. My only, not even a concern, but I know we're opening up, this would be number 4. Is this something that's common for a lot of people? What if another entity wanted to approach the board and say, I represent Acme 457 plan. I want to make this available and market to your employees. Is this something, again, I'm fully in support of this. This makes perfect sense. It's no money, but where does this involve going forward? Could there be future 457 plans coming before us? What's the thought on that?
They would only come, I would think they would only come before the board if the county administrator controller recommended that.
Okay.
So, the other plans were here. I believe when I came on board, the other plans that you just, thank you for bringing those up. Those other plans were here. This is a plan that just makes sense to us. It's not labor intensive. It's something that will be, entered into BSNA payroll. It'll be click a button and it goes. It's just another form that's filled out when we do the onboarding with employees. So it is very low maintenance for the employer, extremely low maintenance, but it can be a great benefit for employees. And, setting aside some of this money pre-tax, paying yourselves first, a small amount that doesn't hinder what they need their cash for. I just think it's a good thing to do. And we already have a, multi-decade relationship with MERS. Not like some unknown agency coming before us and saying, hey, please do the same thing with us. So I think that it's okay. I think it's a good thing.
Oh, I don't disagree with that. My concern, if there was one, I wouldn't even, concern is a poor choice of words. It's 10:22 and I've had a small cup of coffee. So that's why my concern is a poor choice of words. But my only for sake of just discussion was the where does this go going forward with the 457? I don't even know if there's how many's on the market or how that's marketed or anything in that market, but just from being able to offer this to employees at little or no costs for us, is just another way to increase our appeal going forward too. So again, it makes perfect sense to me, but at the same time, I'm just, trying to look down the road too. And if we get in, I can't see that. Like I said, I'm ignorant on the fact of how many 457 plans are out there other than the 3 that we already have in this one. So I'm sure their market's saturated with them, but that's all I have. I'm in favor of it. I don't see any negative on it.
Mr. Jelzinski.
Well, kind of a concern popped up as Jim was talking about some of his issues. This will be the 4th one we have. I don't know how many people participate in the various 4 or the 3 that we currently have. I wouldn't want to make it so it's so confusing to the employees to determine who they want to go with. Maybe kind of a review of participants right now with the current to see if we should eliminate any of the existing ones.
I don't think you want to do that, Commissioner. Oh, I'm sorry. Pardon me. I apologize for interrupting you.
I know they're based on market performance and all, and it's just a thought.
I don't think we should eliminate any. We have employees who have chosen those. I mean, I think it's one of those promises made, promises kept. It doesn't take, it's not labor intensive at all. for the administrator controller's office. It happens at payroll. It's in, it's done, it's over. It's not any different than, how many people, how many retirees are paying to have their dental and vision and health insurance covered. They pay that. We send an invoice, they pay us. That's more labor intensive than what we're offering to offer this. I think that you have employees who have been in those other programs, and I think to eliminate them would not be in the best interest of us. I don't think that would be the right thing to do to our employees.
Yeah.
Personally.
Yeah, my main, I'm sorry.
No, go
My
ahead.
concern is the confusion on it. I know when I was with Clinton County, I participated nationwide. Nationwide would send a representative to the county and would have a session to explain their products. I don't know if the others do the same, just so we don't have a lot of confusion on employees on which is the best plan to go with.
I think that's their personal decision. And I
But
just think that having the MERS program is the right thing to do. We've had employees who have asked for that. They would like to have their money all in one spot, not have to keep track of it in different places. It's not a big deal for us to do it. I don't think that they're overly confused by which one to pick. They're the ones who have asked us to do this. So I really strongly recommend that we move this forward. And I think that, I understand your interest, Commissioner Jelezinski, and it's, but I have not experienced people saying, oh gosh, there's three, which one, what should I do? What should I do? I think people pretty well can make their mind up about that.
I think so too, and I think this is a good thing to do, especially since it was prompted by a request from employees, so. Yeah, Commissioner Horton.
Yeah, having four now, I think that information does need to be made aware to the employees, but I think whether or not it's a good plan or a bad plan, I think that's going to be the employee's responsibility. If you're in a plan that's losing money, you're not going to want to be in that plan very long. So I think that a market will control what, that might, and whether and how readily available, again, it's probably through, oh God, I'm terrible on names this morning. But I mean, whenever they sign up, if they're interested in 457, I'm sure they can ask, what does the county offer? Or here's the 4 plans, 3 now, 1 if we add this. Here's the 4 plans, pick them, chew them. Let me know if you want to make a decision. We'll put it on your payroll. To echo what Commissioner Jelezinski saying, yeah, I do think we need to, make it known what the 4 plans are, but from there, I think the market and the employees will determine what plan they want to go into. And I don't know anything more whether they can switch between the plans, if there's a time frame they can switch into, all that. That's beyond my discussion today on it. But yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, and if someone would be in, some people just like, they won't change up or down. Nationwide, let's say, I'll pick on Nationwide. I don't know anything about them, but they could be up 10, 15% on their overall investment portfolio, and you think it's the greatest thing running, and the next year they're 3% down. And if we try to look at it as the county going, well, they're 3% down, we don't want our employees in that. One employee may say, well, yeah, but they were 10%, 18%. So I would say if we're going to have 4 plans, let the employees go with it. And that's our involvement. We just approve the plans into our system and run with it. I mean, and just make sure that my only statement would be that make sure that if an employee does want to sign up, that they're just, I wouldn't, that they know what plans are available and be done with it. So.
Well, let me add that Emma Newport of our team.
Yeah, that's the name. There's a name I couldn't think right there. That's how bad it is for me today.
Emma does such a fabulous job of onboarding. And when I hired her into this job, I said to her, Emma, your job is to take care of our employees.
Mhm.
That's my goal. That's the goal of that job. Make sure people know what they're eligible for, make sure people have all the information they need about their insurance. When people are having health crises or their family is, we want to help them. We want to assist them. We want to make their life as easy as possible. The onboarding that she does, the way she explains things, trust me, I have an employee here today, actually, who came to the window that I helped just before this meeting started, who's a new hire, and, her appointment with him was at 10 o'clock to onboard. I'm going to tell you, she'll be with him for an hour and a half. So She does a great job. And if people have any questions, or I don't know a better person for that position anywhere that I've worked with. She's informed, she's professional, she's kind, and she will take all the time in the world to help explain things to people.
Well, that answered my concern on that one. And just to let you know, I've known Emma Newport since she's even about half as tall as she is now. And of course, couldn't remember her name this morning. So there you go. But yeah, Margaret, you answered my concern right there. We have someone, and we will have someone that's knowledgeable, at least as far as directing them the availability of the plans. That's all that was mainly my concerns. Again, using the term concern. I don't mean to say it like that. But, all right, sorry, Chairman Hope, I'm sorry to butt in there.
No problem. I was just gonna say, Margaret, I can echo points about Emma because I did reach out to her on the phone about some of the some benefit questions that I had, and she was very helpful, very good. So, yeah, I would agree 100%.
Yes.
And I will make this motion then that we consider approving the Michigan Employees Retirement System MERS 457 participation agreement and authorize the board chair to sign the same.
I will second that motion.
Been moved and supported. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say nay. Okay, and that motion will move forward to the work session and brings us down to invoice list discussions. Commissioners, do you have anything?
A lot of drain work. Other than that, they're pretty customary things we see on and
Yeah,
on.
a lot of drain work.
Mhm.
I guess, and Commissioner Jazinski brought this up a while ago, but I guess I would like to see where we're at with the pre-construction costs for the General Sheriff's Office project.
That is being put together. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen in this phase. It's going to happen after the first of the year. That information is all been put together and being worked on right now. But it's not going to happen before the state board meeting.
Yeah. Understandable. Yep. Sounds good. Other than that, yeah, a whole lot of drain work going on. I didn't see anything that brought up any huge questions.
So actually, now I'm going to take back what I said, Chairman.
Okay.
To some extent. I can send you a spreadsheet of what we've expended through to date. I can do that. I can get that out to you. I'll send that out to you. But as far as the deeper dive that we talked about, an analysis and the rest of it, that's not going to happen before the end of the year. But I can
sure. Yeah.
where we are with expenditures to date. That's what we're
Okay.
looking for.
That sounds good. Yeah, I wouldn't expect a deep dive to happen yet. This year's coming to a close, so.
And you know, that spreadsheet is updated internally here all the time. So
Mhm.
that is not a problem. And we do look at it and review it and talk about it. You know, I will say that I drove by that property again this morning. It is so ideal. It shocks me still. It's perfect for what we need. And, you know, it's an honor to have been able to work on that project to this point. It's difficult to leave at this point because of that. I believe it's in good hands. Certainly it's in great hands with the sheriff. And I know that the Board of Commissioners will continue to the commitment that's been made. And I'm really, I really think that everybody needs to keep their eye on the prize. And the prize is that we don't have a prize right now at our facility. And it's a testament to the sheriff's office of what they're able to accomplish there. And moving forward on this project, it will be great moving forward. And I know it'll be in good, it's certainly in good hands with the sheriff. Nicole is going to step in and help carry the torch from this end. And I know that the commissioners will continue to support it. So yeah, I'm happy to get that spreadsheet out. The deeper dive is not going to be done in time, but I'll get the spreadsheet out.
Okay, yep, I appreciate that. And I agree with all of that. The location, I'm real happy that we moved back to
Mhm.
nation. So it's a good place for it.
It sure is.
Okay, commissioners, anything else? Okay, call to the public. Nicole, do we have anyone?
We still do not, Mr. Chairman.
No public. Okay, then we will adjourn at 10:34.
Thank you, gentlemen. Have a great rest of your day.
See
Thank you.
Thank
everybody
you.
on Tuesday.
You
Thank you.
too.
See everybody Tuesday.